Okay. Did you feel any, like you talked about energy and such, any words, I don't have to record this, but any words from me in terms of like what, if you were a mechanic and that was a car, and my mind was the car owner, what would you tell the car owner about, you know what, you really got to do
diagnostics?
Yeah, you could change your oil a little more often or something like, I don't know. I mean, I've been driving a car for 4 days, so.
Well, one thing I would say is regular maintenance is a must. When you're in the high stress position that you're in, be mindful of your posture. Be mindful of how you sleep. You know, are you supporting what needs to be supported? Is your spine...
I'm a side sleeper, and you said I should put a pillow between my legs?
If you have a pillow between the knees, it helps keep the pelvis straight. Because otherwise, you're getting a nice little tilt there. You're getting muscles that tighten in that position on a regular basis. No wonder you walk like a duck.
I told her that. That's not her observation.
Although, if you look at your stance, you know, when the feet are splayed at a 75 to 90 degree angle, there's something going on up here. And as you said, when I had you do the exercise of just tighten your buttocks and stand like that for a moment and see what's affected. As you tighten those muscles, what did you feel?
My knees.
Your knees.
Right.
And then it radiates down.
Yeah.
And it radiates up. So anytime you have those things that get a little bit out of whack, it benefits greatly if you can just get in the habit of treating your whole body, your whole mind, your whole spirit, and bringing them together and being mindful of what you're doing on a regular basis.
Three Advils and 6 shots of vodka will make it feel. We'll make it feel.
Feel?
We'll
you can feel?
You can't feel after that. But it feels with the pain. So what you're saying is that
most headaches, when people take aspirin and water, it's not because you're aspirin deficient. It's because the water is able to get in there before the aspirin even can take effect. The water helps the cells to start rejuvenating and doing their process because they have a waste mechanism as well. And when you don't have enough water to flush out the waste, it builds. It becomes toxic. It becomes a level of discomfort. You get tight muscles, so then you get lack of circulation, etc.
All right.
So drinking the water first and foremost. They say 8 to 12 glasses. After a massage, now that I've stirred up all this stuff,
yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
You want to increase it beyond that.
Okay.
And basically, if you just are mindful of not drinking the things that deplete your body of this essential fluid, considering we're supposed to be these great bags of water, as you've blogged before.
Star Wars line. Star Trek, right? Star Trek.
Yes, these carbon...
These ugly bags of mostly water.
Right. It just goes a long way towards your wellness. And I think we've been a society for so long focused on how do I fix this? How do I cure something? And you go in with a list of symptoms for your doctor.
Right.
You don't necessarily tell him what you did to get to that state.
Right.
Because who wants to be accountable for changing that? It's a process.
Right.
And being accepting of that is probably the best step you can make.
Okay. So how frequently would you suggest people visit a massage therapist?
It depends on their need. It depends on if they've been in an accident. Of course, there are certain areas I could not massage if you had whiplash. I would be doing the other things to relieve the tension of that area without actually physically getting into an area that's injured. I would address it. I would certainly address it, but I'd have to use different methods. If you're dealing with just, I'm on my feet all day, I've got the kids to deal with, the general stresses. I would say anybody getting started with a massage needs to realize it's a cumulative effect.
Cumulative.
I have a client that comes once every week. I have a client that makes his life around every 2-week sessions. Seriously, he's a cattleman. He's got 17 to 18,000 acres. They do brandings. They do all kinds of things. He's on his feet. He knows the benefit, and he makes it a priority. So it really depends on how much you're willing to invest in yourself and what your goals are.
Right.
And if you have a good wellness facilitator to deal with, and if you don't find one right away, keep looking, because not everybody gets the same training.
Well, that would be the case. So let's say you don't have anyone to refer? You don't know anyone, okay? Where would you go to find a good professional massage therapist? Is there an industry association, or should you just Google it and just hope, or is there any?
The first thing I would do is the phone interview. As much as they would ask you questions, ask them questions about their background and training.
Okay, what answer should you be looking for?
Okay, are you certified? Was the school accredited? Have you tested for the national certification? We don't have a state mandate saying everyone has to comply to these orders. We're trying to get there. Mm-hmm. But the ones who fight it are the 100-hour schools that don't want to have to go through the process of accrediting every one of their instructors.
Oh, I see.
We have one even here in Oakdale where people will go from here where there are no recommendations by the city ordinance because it's governed by city and county ordinances. Mm-hmm. And there's no regulation, and then you go to Modesto, and there's a minimum 500 hours of school accredited schooling that you must comply with. Plus, they have their other standards that, first they're always draped, you never expose the abdominal, and, there's so many different things based on where you're going. So to become in compliant with that, I'm just continuing my education with everything I've got. I'm about to finish my acupressure classes. I have my final practicum June 2nd, and I'm going to keep going from there. There's so many other things I could be doing with this as well. So as a side note, I actually got to go to the horse races recently.
Okay.
A friend of mine in Fair Oaks was able to see an old college buddy of his who is working with the horses and acupuncture.
Oh.
These horses need to be bringing in the money. If they're already working with them with acupuncture and Chinese herbs and all of these other things, these people are paying because they know they're getting results.
Well, they're testing for the other stuff that they used to put in them now, so got to find some way to get them.
There's a lot of things, yes.
I thought you were going to finish that with, God, those jockeys have such horrible posture. Look how they're hunched over that horse.
Job security. It's just job security for me. What can I say? But just knowing that it doesn't have to be just humans getting the treatment. Horses, people think of as more than just pets. They can also be the breadwinner. It depends. Right. Just being mindful of how to bring the Eastern and Western philosophies together, I think we can create a community of wellness more than focusing on illness all the time and worrying about the side effects. Mm-hmm. That was our other discussion.
Right.
So.
Right. I'm anticipating throwing up any minute now from all the toxins that have been released into my system.
It doesn't quite work that way.
Oh, okay.
But, over time, in the next day or two, if you're really not mindful of water intake, you may start feeling things in your muscles. It's just like when you get a really good workout, and then you get the lactic acid buildup. If you're using Gatorade or water at that point, when I was working out really well, I made sure I kept up on my water. I wasn't feeling all of the side effects of, boy, was I just hit by a Mack truck.
Right. I get that a little bit, but only after
past that if you're at least replenishing your body with the fluids that you've been depleting. And electrolytes, but not always. Gatorade and that should be limited to when you really need the electrolyte boost, not as an everyday thing.
Because that's a sugar thing.
Well, sodas too.
Right,
people think they're going for the diet soda because it's going to be better than the regular one. Just give me the sugar and I'll deal with the consequences compared to what's going on with the diet items and what they've replaced it with.
I see.
And try not to make it a lifestyle of every day.
Mm-hmm.
So.
To cut down on my diet rockstar then.
Just double fist it with your water.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
If you're going to do the damage, at least have something to help alleviate it.
So, what is your tagline again?
When you need to be needed, call Jen Machado for therapeutic body work.
You want to give us the phone number? I can put it across the bottom of the screen.
Sure. 209-838-0657. And please leave a message. And please be mindful that my children do hear that answering machine. And I don't do that type of massage anyway, so I'll, nip that one in the bud.